राधे 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 गोविंद। राधे 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 गोविंद।
राधे 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 गोविंद।
कृष्ण मुकुंद बाल गोविंद।
ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुदेवाय नमः।
प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि ओम्।
श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम। 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 Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri 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 Krishna Sharanam Mama
This is the beginning of the 10th chapter. So I'll just tell you the summary of this. Where we stopped last night and then we'll continue from there. So in the 9th chapter, the previous chapter, Bhagavan told to Arjuna, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Vakshyami. I'm going to tell you, my dear Arjuna, the king of all knowledges, the greatest knowledge in the world. See, we can know so many different types of knowledge in this world. No? People know mathematics and chemistry and biology and and all sort of things, medicine and law and economics, and people know a million different things. But I'll tell you, when you have any sorrow or any problem in your life, mathematics could save you. Economics will save you. It doesn't matter which degree you have and which letters you have behind your name. When you have misery and sorrow, none of those letters will save you, isn't it? In fact, actually those letters will make you more miserable. How? I have all this qualification and I am still suffering? Really speaking, the supreme knowledge is given in the Upanishads. That is the knowledge of Paramatma, knowledge of absolute reality, knowledge of Brahman. All these things mean same thing. That supreme knowledge is the knowledge that the student went to the Rishi in the Mundaka Upanishad and he told, you tell me that knowledge knowing which everything becomes known. Supreme knowledge. So Bhagavan told to Arjuna in the 9th chapter, my dear, I am going to tell you that supreme, king of all knowledge, Raja Vidya, and now in the 10th chapter, the 9th chapter finished, Bhagavan gave the supreme knowledge, And now he tells Arjuna in this 10th chapter, Huya eva mahabaho shrume paramam vachanam. Now you listen to my supreme words again. I am going to tell you what same supreme knowledge. What is it? Because I told last night, Arjuna's air is hard just like our air. Air is hard, We teach the thing over and over, but still we don't get it. So Bhagavan has to repeat over and over in this Bhagavad Gita. He repeats it. In fact, the last verse of the 9th chapter, he'll repeat that same verse again in the 18th chapter all the way down. Like that. Same verse. So Bhagavan has to go on repeating himself, just like any good parent, any good mother, good father, they go on repeating to the child over and over, isn't it? Same thing. So he said, listen to my words, and it looks like you have developed a fondness to listen to my words now. And I am speaking for your benefit, is what he tells Arjuna. And now he starts. Name vidu suraganaha prabhavam namaharshaya. All the devatas, suraganaha means all Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, everybody coming down, Indra, Agni, Vayu, Ityadi, all of them, none of them, they know me. Maharshaya, all the great Maharishis and all, they don't know me. Aham adiri devana maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Because I am there. I am the origin of all of them. Now see, this is actually stating throughout the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Hindu Shastras, there are many little laws you have to understand. Many little rules and laws. Like one boy telling, here is one law is coming, I'll tell you. One boy telling his mother and father, little boy, he is only 8 years old. When I get married, when I grow up and I get married, I will not invite both of you to my wedding. He telling to his parents. So the parents said, but why? Why you would not invite us to your wedding? He said, because when both of you got married, you did not invite me. Now look at that. The idea is that this little boy was not even present, isn't it? He was not even existing there in that time. And so how he could be invited to that wedding? If the wedding were not there, then he would not have been born itself, isn't it? The rule which this thing actually teaches us, right, is it is very difficult for us to know our origin. It is very difficult for us to know origin. Like for example, you know that you were born, but your origin was your mother and father. But you can't know until you grow up that these people are my mother and father. They were the cause. Here. So the other way to say that is, the effect really cannot know the cause. I'll give you a simple example. You know, water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen, right? So hydrogen is here and oxygen is here. And when the two come together, you got H2O. Two hydrogen and one oxygen. So now these two fellows, they are two gas. Hydrogen is a gas and oxygen is a gas. Right? And there is no such thing as H2O yet. Now the two of them come together and they make H2O. The oxygen and hydrogen come together and they make water. So now here is a new fellow who is born. But before he was born, he was oxygen and hydrogen, oxygen. And now he is born. Only now he starts knowing. He cannot know how he was born. Only after he is born, he can start knowing. He cannot know anything about it before. The effect really cannot know the cause. This is a very deep law that runs in the universe actually. So the effect is H2O. So he's a different molecule altogether now. And he's now born. But before he was born, there was no chance of him, he was not there, and there is no chance of him knowing about oxygen and hydrogen. So anyway, here Bhagavan is using this law to tell us. See, I am aham adiri devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. I am the source, the cause of all the devtas and all the rishis. How they will know me? They are the effect. The effect cannot know the cause. This is a very deep teaching in this number 2 verse. But this is something that has to be reflected on. Name vidusuraganaha prabhavam. They don't know my greatness, they don't know my glory, they don't know my anaditvam. So many things that prabhavam word means. Okay. But those people who study and meditate and ponder on me. And this is one more thing I will see. Bhagavan just now said they don't know. But again in the next verse now he says those who know. Look, listen to number 3 now.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Yomam Ajam Anadincha Eti Lokam Maheshwaram. Those people who understand me, Bhagavan Krishna is speaking, to be unborn Ajam. Ajam means he was always there. Born is for something that was not there and then came into being. That thing is born. But for Bhagavan, who is always there, he is called as Ajam. All the way from the beginning of the teaching in the second chapter when he started, there also he used this word. He started his teaching in the second chapter. He did not teach anything in the first chapter. In the second chapter also he used this word, Ajam. And this word is there throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan is Ajam, unborn. So when he takes avatar, we celebrate the birth of Bhagavan really. That is our word. But we say Bhagavan's Janma is born. It means he has just taken avatar, he has manifested in some place. Not that he is born, he is unborn, Ajam. So those who understand me to be unborn, then Anadim. Ajam and Anadim is the same thing. But Bhagavan is using one word which we know, but to illustrate the other word which we do not know. It's an Anadi, beginningless. So we say, Bhagavan has always been there. He has always been. If you go back 1 million years, 1 billion years, he was there. And if you go back 1 billion years before that, he was there. And 1 billion years before that, he was still there. That is the beginning of Anadi, beginningless. This is the most wonderful concept that Sanatana Dharma has given to the world. But people don't like to think about this type of thing. They like to think about beginning. Look here. Let me just ask you a simple question. Human beings like to think about difficult things or they like to think about simple things? Nobody wants to think about any difficult thing. That is called intellectual tamas. Intellectual tamas. We don't like to think about anything, any difficult thing and all that kind of thing. Like one man, two people went in the mango orchard. They have all variety of mango there, right? All varieties of mango. One man went on thinking, oh, well, this is Julie mango, the leaves are like this. And this is Dudu's mango, the leaves are like this. And these are all the names he's calling. And this one originated in Pakistan, and that one originated in India, and that one originated in Africa. And he goes on and he's tabulating. And the other man says, oh, what foolishness is. He started eating mango. So now, if you send 100 people in that field, right? If you send 100 people in that field, how many will do like the first man and how many will do like the second man? Well, nobody will do like the first man. Only he will be one alone. All 100 of them will go and start eating mango. Because all human beings and all creatures, we don't like anything difficult. We like everything only simple. So if we have to do nothing, better also. So Bhagavan is telling now that people have to understand. Those who understand me as Ajam, unborn, meaning Anadi, beginningless, I've always been there. And they understand me as Loka Maheshwaram. I am the Lord of this whole universe. And I am the one who controls everything in this universe. Those people who understand me like that, those people become asammudha. Asammudha means they go beyond all delusion. They go beyond delusion. And when they go beyond delusion, sarva papai pramuchyate. They gain enlightenment. It means they understand my greatness. And that understanding of my greatness, they surrender to me. Because if I pit myself against the personality of the Lord, where am I and where is Bhagavan? You see, where will I be and where will Bhagavan be? Achha, please, those parents, please keep these two children here. Please avoid you running. All right. So, the people have to understand that this is the mighty Lord of the universe. He is infinite, beginningless, and all that. And if I put myself against that Lord, where am I and where is Bhagavan? So in doing so, he actually surrenders his own individual personality. That realization alone makes him surrender his own individual personality. And like that, he becomes asammudha. Asammudha means he goes beyond delusion. Because our delusion is, in this world, one manifestation of our delusion, all human beings, we think too much of ourselves. Correct or not? Everybody feels that we're so great, yeah. I'm so great, so big, so... And if anybody tells anything, then we say, hey, we point like this, hey, don't mess with me. You know how some people, hey, don't mess with me. I finish you. And you don't know me. And people like those type of things. In this way, it is proof that everybody thinks a lot about himself. And really, if we pit ourselves against Bhagavan, compare, I don't even exist. This thing is called asammudha. When I understand that he is the Lord of the whole universe, mighty, infinite, beginningless, he's always been there. And this finite little jiva, he doesn't know anything, he can't do anything, he has no power, nothing. Like that causes that person to surrender his little individual ego, and he becomes asammudha. Bhagavan says that person sarva papai pramuchyate. He goes beyond all bondage. Here papa here means all finite, all the things in the past which has caused him to take this finite birth and remain bound. He goes beyond all of that. And now in the next two verses, he gives several words for all of us to reflect on, and also he concludes the very important message. Now see, two verses go together. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri
Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Bhavanti bhavabhutanam bhaktadevam prabhavi
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Sakane Lal ki
Jai.
Buddhi Jnana Sammoha Kshama. I'll tell you what is the conclusion of these two verses. Then we'll see all the words. The conclusion is very simple one. Everything in this universe, whether it is positive or negative, that thing has manifested from Paramatma. Now see, in an atom, there is a positive charge and there is also a negative charge in every atom, right? Achha, theek hai. There is a positive charge and a negative charge in every atom. This is the first rule. Second rule, you need both for the atom to work, right? But this is the second rule. Both must be there, otherwise the atom cannot function. Right. Now third question comes, where both the positive and the negative came from? Well, you can't say all the positive came from Bhagavan and the negative came from, well, God knows where from. The positive charge and the negative charge in the atom both came from Paramatma only. Paramatma manifests as both the positive as well as the negative. And if he had not manifested as both positive and negative, this universe cannot function. Because if you remove all the negative charge, see in your car, there's a battery that starts your car, right? So if you remove the negative pole, then what will happen? Your car will start. Nothing will happen. Then you click. You need the positive pole and you need the negative pole. In the atom you need the positive charge and you need the negative charge. Alright, suppose there was no Ravan in Ramayana. Right? The Devatas went and they told to Bhagavan Vishnu, Prabhu, this Ravan giving too much trouble. He's giving too much trouble. You please come and you do something. Then Bhagavan promised. Bhagavan said, okay. I will come and I will remove that Ravan. You know the story in Ramayana, right? I will come and remove that Ravan. Now, suppose there was no Ravan. Why Bhagavan will come? To do what? To eat dal and rice and bhaji by your house or what? So Bhagavan had no need to come. So, if there is no Ravan, there will be no Ram. And if there is no Ravan and no Ram, where is the Ramayana? So Bhagavan has manifested himself as both the positive and the negative in this world, and that is how the world is. We usually, because of the way we are brought up, and in the Western, in the Western theological traditions, they train our mind to think crazy things. And we have all been subject of British education for 300 years, 400 years. So all of our minds have forgotten how to think like a Sanatani. We forgot how to think like a Sanatani. Please remember, the positive charge in this universe and the positive things in this universe is no more important than the negative things. The negative things have to be there for the positive things to work. And if you just remove one negative thing, I'm just telling any negative thing, you just remove one negative thing from this world, the whole world collapses. You will try? Listen, let's follow it a little bit. Follow a little bit. Let us say we remove disease. Because health is the positive thing and disease is the negative thing, right? Follow me now. You remove disease. One negative thing only. I'm not talking about any other negative thing. Like for example, you could say now, okay, we remove all criminals and we save all sadhus. So the positive and negative. But I'm just taking one. Remove all disease. Now follow, right? If you remove all disease, would there be any need for any doctors? Would the doctors go to sit down and watch? So now you don't need any doctors, and the world has thousands and thousands and thousands of doctors, right? So with all the doctors already, they become unemployed. So you have thousands of people who become unemployed. All right, fine. You don't need doctors. Acha, theek hai. We need hospitals? No. We don't need hospitals. So all the nurses and all the administrative staff, close down all the hospitals. Close down all the hospitals and everything. Okay, so now because for every doctor, one doctor, you have 10 other people who are not doctors, they work in the hospital. Or 20. So with one doctor gone, 20 others gone also. So if 100,000 gone, 2 million gone. 100,000 doctors in the world, 2 million people gone. What is hospital do? Nobody have disease? Oh, theek hai. So we are already 2 million gone. We just given some numbers. Acha, theek hai. If we don't have doctors, you don't have nurses, then there is no need for medical colleges, med school. Because why you want to teach doctors? So you close down all the medical colleges in the whole world. There are 6. You close down all of them. Right? Because you don't have to teach anything. So all the professors and all the staff and everybody fired. All of them. Oh, good. So now, I don't know how many numbers now are up again. Now, there are huge, multi-trillion-dollar pharmaceutical companies in this world. They actually the biggest companies, all of them closed down. There were people who were making all the medicine, who were making all the needles, who were making all the syringes, who were making the countless type of medicine they have across the whole globe. It's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, closed down, and all that money that goes into the stock exchange and all the employees, the whole economy will crash, global economy. Global economy will crash. What we did, we only removed one negative thing. That is called disease. I tell you, Bhagavan has manifested both as positive and negative. And when the two are there in the whole world, you ever see a bicycle with one pedal? What you will pedal? And you go there, not to come back now. This one stuck below now. That's how it will come. You have to have the other one too. In the very same way, the atom needs the 2 charges, the universe needs the 2 charges for the whole universe to work. That is how this universe is working. And here in these 2 verses, Bhagavan just tells us that if you see fear, and you see abhaya, fearlessness, please remember, both have come from bhaya, abhaya, and all the different fears. Most of it is positive ones, but he is sprinkling in between to remind us that he is also the negative ones. Like that. Buddhi, intellect. Jnanam, knowledge. Sammoha, non-delusion, means clarity of thinking and clarity of mind. Kshama, forbearance. Satyam, truth. Dhamma, control of this body and all of these things. Shama, control of the mind. Sukham, joy. Sukham. What's the next word? Dukkham. Bhagavan is also Sukham and also Dukkham, is sorrow also. So he manifests as Sukha, but he also manifests as Dukkha. So he's sprinkling in between all the negative ones also, which we know. Bhava means existence, being, birth if you want to say, and abhava, death, going out of existence, non-existence. So existence and non-existence both. Bhaya, fear, abhayam, fearlessness. Bhagavan is manifested as both. Ahimsa, non-violence. Samatha means equilibrium, equipoise. And tushtihi is contentment. He is manifested as contentment. Tapaha, austerity. Dhanam, charity. Yashaha and ayashaha. He is manifested as good name and fame. Yash and ayash also, bad name. He is manifested as both. Everything in this universe. Bhavanti bhava bhutana matta eva prakridaha. All things have mattaha. Matta means all things are manifested from me. Because there is only one source in the universe, they don't have two gods. So if things are going to manifest in the universe, they can only come from one place. One Paramatma. You see? So by extension, Bhagavan has manifested as all things in this universe, positive as well as negative. Now one more thing. People say, Swami, that's hard to digest. What do you do? Gruesome criminal, this fellow who are diabolical and so evil today. Hard, Bhagavan has manifested as them also. He's manifested all these saints and sadhus and mahatmas and all on one side, and then all these criminals and all these very bad people also he's manifested. Look here. Good and bad in this world is only a matter of perspective. Good and bad is only a matter of perspective, where you stand. So, for all the Rakshasas in Lanka, for example, right? For all the Rakshasas in Lanka, they believe Ravan to be good or bad. They believe Ravan to be really good. So in their eyes, Ravan is the boss. He is boss. Ravan, he is foolish. So, for them, Ravan is good. And for people on the other side, Ravan is bad. That is only a matter of perspective. Now, people ask one more question. Prashantji, hold up. Isn't there something which is, from an objective standpoint, called as good, and something from an objective standpoint which is called as bad? When compared, then we say yes. And then we don't use the word good and bad, this is all Western word. But we use, there is something which is called as dharma, and the other one is called as adharma. Dharma and adharma. And dharma is that which holds the world together, holds the society together, holds the family together, holds the nation together, holds humanity and progress and all of that nicely, harmoniously takes it ahead. That is called dharma. And anything which breaks up that and destroys that, that thing is called as adharma. Because in this world we know, we experience, you can make things and you can also break things. So that which protects, which propagates and which fosters and engenders and all of that, that thing is called dharma. And that thing which breaks up and which corrupts and which does all the other things, that is called as adharma. And we say that if you want to get mukti, you have to follow dharma. And if you follow adharma, well then there is one sorrow after the next, and then there is no mukti. So dharma is promoted because it is the path to mukti. Like for example, there is fire and there is ice, right? So this is opposite. Like this, fire on this side hot and ice cold, right? So if you want to cook food, if you want a certain outcome, you want to cook food, but you will take ice out. Ice will not cook your food. You need fire. So if you want that outcome, you use this thing. So in the same way, if I want the outcome of mukti, I use dharma. And if I use adharma, I have to be so bad like Ravan only. I have to be like Ravan only, then I will get mukti by bad means. But I don't think any one of us can be so great like Ravan in badness also. So what we will have is sorrow only. Ravan got sorrow, but he got mukti too. But we can't be a Ravan, you know. You have to be a good Ravan. Anyway, this is a nice line of thinking for you to do. Alright, now, Bhagavan says now in the next verse, all beings and all rishis and all, they are all also born from me only. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Means all of these Sapta Rishis which we hear about all the time, in 4 Manus, in each cycle we have some Manus. Manu means the first manifested human being, not that the first created and no such thing as Sanatana Dharma, first manifested. They all are there, but they manifest. So very much of the Manmantaraha, you will hear all the Pandits who are doing puja and all that kind of thing. When they take Sankalpa, they tell which time we are living in. So the Manu right now, which is governing, he is the king of the whole universe, who is governing all things in the universe right now. He is called as Vaivasvata right now. when Brahmaji goes to sleep, and Brahmaji wakes up, when he goes to sleep, the world dissolves, and when he wakes up, the world starts manifesting again. Same world, not a new world. Same world starts manifesting again. And that time, some Manu is first manifested as the king of the whole universe. He is manifested as king of the whole universe. So the one who is reigning right now is called as Vaivasvata. And when this goes on for a long time, he will be king. So he is called as Manu. So now in Ramayana, his wife is called as Shatrupa. You will see when those who study Ramayana, you see like that. Anyway, so that there are so many Manus have come and gone. But Bhagavan is saying all those Manus, they are manifested only from me only. I am the source of all of them. And Maharshayaha Saptapurve, the 7 rishis of yoga. 7 very famous rishis were there, and their names you hear occurring all the time. 7 rishis. Sapta Rishi they are called. So now let me see if I remember their name. And even if you remember one of their names, just to remember the Rishi's name, Just to remember that Rishi's name. You see, instead of what? You will remember some foolish thing. Isn't it? Instead of remembering some foolish thing there, remember the name of the Rishi. So now I'll tell you some names. Atri Rishi you have heard. Maharshi Atri. Atri Muni, Atri Rishi is one of their names. Then there was another one called as Jamadagni. Jamadagni Rishi. Then there was another one called as Gautam Rishi. And then when you remember the name also someday, and nowadays you are very fortunate, you have Google. So you just plug one of their names in Google and you will get so much information about that Rishi and all that, isn't it? So Atri Rishi, then Jamadagni Rishi, then Gautam Rishi, then Kashyapa Rishi, like that. Then Vasishta, Vishwamitra, then which one I left out? Vasishta, Vishwamitra, and I may have left out. What else have I? So like that, we have had in the vast, great expanse of time, so many great rishis, but these 7, they stand out. Because at one time they had all come together. No, if great people unite. If great people unite. And great people unite. They bring about great things in the universe, So these 7 had come together and they had brought about a lot of good in the world. Lot of things they had accomplished. Saptarishis they are called. So now, Bhagavan said, where did the Saptarishis came from? They manifested from. Now one more thing, where do you think all of us came from? These Christian people, they come to your house, right? They come to your house to try to convert you to Christianity. Right. One day my grandfather taught them. So then they said, we came to you to talk to you about the Son of God. Right? We came to talk to you about the Son of God. So my grandfather asked simply, you came to talk to me about the Son of God, so who do you think I am? Because Bhagavan is very clearly telling me here, He is very clearly telling me this what do you call Bhagavad Gita, that all of us and all things in the universe have come from Him. So then who are we? You have to understand this very clearly. We are all sons and daughters of. He told us in 9th chapter. Mata, Pita, I am the mother, I am the father, I am everything. We are all born from Paramatma. Please remember this. We are not born from some other place. Where are you born from? Every single thing He is including here. Madhava Manasa. मानसः जाताः येषां लोक इमा प्रजाः. This is the Praman in Bhagavad Gita. येषां लोकः इमा प्रजाः. Lokam in this world. And prajaha means all the beings. Born from who? If you just now he told negative charge is born from me, positive is born from me, bhaya, fear is born from me, carelessness is born from me. Why will he want to creatures? Everything is born from the Lord. And all of us are sons and daughters of Bhagavan only. Please remember this. This is teaching of Sanatana Dharma. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yoge idatara. The one who understands this greatness of the Lord, to realize that this whole universe has emerged from Him only. We are all manifestations of that Paramatma. The one who understands this, yo avikampena yogena yujyate na atra samjaya. Certainly the person who comes to understand this thing deeply, he merges with his Paramatma only. Yujyate. Natra samjaya. There is no doubt about this, he says. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha matta sarvam pravartate. In the 7th chapter also we have dealt with this nice, this line is very nice. Every single thing has come from me. And you can't have some things coming from Bhagavan and some things coming from somewhere else. Where is it somewhere else? Bhagavan is the infinite one reality of the whole universe. There is no second thing. So all of us born from that divinity, part and parcel of that divinity. That is why Tulsidas is Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama
Jiva, with this Jiva, all of us, we are Amsha of Ishvara only. This will come up in 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Manai Amsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All of us are Amsha. Amsha means a fraction. A little tukra of Ishvara only. So, we have not come from any foreign place and we are not related to any foreign being or this and that. And every single thing in this universe in this way has come from that Paramatma only. Matta sarvam pravartate, he says. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the one who is responsible for the manifestation of everything. Iti mattva bhajante mam buddha bhavasamandita. And the wise people, buddha bhavasamandita bhajante mam bhajante, means all the wise people. Understanding this, they will worship me with full heart. As if Bhagavan also uses this word in Bhagavad Gita, full heart. They should not do anything peaceful. I believe in Bhagavan, but sometimes. I believe in the Lord, but sometimes. At other times, no, I believe in my Deva. I believe in the bison, the buffalo. I feel buffalo is strong, buffalo will do this thing and do that thing. And some people believe in the Lord conveniently. Only when we in trouble then, oh, please, And some people think Bhagavan is giving a sign also. Sometimes. And that is only sign for some one fellow. Let me tell you what sign this fellow did. He got up 6 a.m. What time? 6 a.m. And it was the 6th day of the 6th month. So that month was June. So he got up at 6 a.m. on the 6th day of the 6th month in the year 1966. So he thought of Bhagavan giving me a sign. He also happened to be 66 years old on that night. So he thought, wow, look at this. Bhagavan gave me a sign. So what he did, he went to the bank and took out $666,000. And he went to the horse race. And he looked for the 6th race. And he put the $666,000 on the 6th horse in the 6th race. Because he Bhagavan gave him a sign. Then, what happened? Naturally, the horse comes 6th. What is everything going 6th? How the horse will come 1? Everything was already going 6th. People are speaking of Bhagavan, give me a sign. And I don't believe only in those times they believe in Bhagavan. And other times, no, so we can't do anything peaceful. See, Bhagavan said, Bhava Samandhitaha means with full bhav and feeling and belief and shraddha, all that faith I should have in the Lord. This is the idea. Itimatva, the wise ones, considering me to be the master of the whole universe and the origin and source of this whole universe, and with full bhav believing this thing, you worship me, Bhagavan tells. Such people, very nicely, see now, this is number 9. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama
Chitta Pranaha Udayanta Parasparam. Similar to the other people, we should be like this. These great sadhus and all those. But think about Bhagavan all the time. Mat Chitta, Mat Pranaha. Live my life for Bhagavan. Bodhayanta Parasparam. Speak about each other with Bhagavan. Speak with each other about Bhagavan only. Bodhayanta Parasparam. I should be telling you about Bhagavan and you should be telling me about Bhagavan. That is the idea. Kathayamanta Chamam Nitya. All the time speaking about the glories of the Lord. Such people, Tushyanti Cha, Ramanti Cha, they become contented and they revel in Bhagavan alone. In Hindi there is a kahavat that says, kahavat Hindi में क्या कहते हैं? कहते हैं कि गदा बोलते हैं साधु साधु से मिले वही ईश्वर की बात, गदा गधे से मिले वही लातन लात. It means to say, when one sadhu Babaji meets another sadhu Babaji, they speak about Ishvara. And when one donkey meets another donkey, they kick each other only. Only kick part. Have you seen two donkeys start kicking? Wow, pray. So So it means when a devotee meets another devotee, they speak about Paramatma. Bhagavan is telling that great people, when they meet each other, they speak about him only. Now comes to, and some people who do that, right? They become contented in life. Because let me tell you something. Look here. If I meet Baba and 2 hours start talking about Ishvara, right? Our knowledge of Ishvara, our thought about Ishvara, our devotion to Ishvara, everything will grow. But suppose I meet Babaji now and 2 hours start talking about selling Paranjan in the market. Right? Forget about Ishvara. We start talking about selling Paranjan. Then Babaji will tell me, last week I sold 10 bags. Then I will tell, when he tells me he sold 10 bags, I will say, oh wow, I only sold 8. Right? So now, when we talk about the Lord, then we become contented. But when I talk about Balanjan, now what happened? He said 10 and I said 8. Now, any contentment I had that gone already because he said more than me. Right? Then, I make a decision now. This week he sell more than me. This time he sell more than me. Next week, I will make sure I sell more than him. No, next week go on the market, I sell 12 baht. He sell 9 baht. Right? So now he becomes discontented. So last week I was discontented. The next week, he is discontented. So now, he going to start to work real hard in the market. I mean, the garden, working more hard now so that the other week he will sell more than me. Now, when he sells more than me, I become, and then every week we go in like, and we ever become contented. That is what the whole works. Nobody ever got contented about nothing. Because all we are talking about is things in this world. And the things in this world, there is no end. This time this person will do better, next time that person does better. When he does better, he is discontented. When he does better, he is discontented. And that keeps going. But if we were talking about Ishvara, our love and Shraddha, devotion and faith and everything will grow, and we will forget about all this discontent also. I am so happy, all the time I get opportunity to think about Paramatma. And for Paramatma, they do more and more less and all that kind of Paramatma. You want Paramatma who is all pervasive, equally existing here and there, everywhere. And in 9th chapter we saw previously, just a couple of days back, Bhagavan doesn't love him more than he loved me. He loved me equally, I loved him equally. So the way is discontentment. You see? So Bhagavan said, wise ones, they talk about him, they worship him, they consider him, they give their mind to him, and such people become tushanti. They become contented again. And Ramanti, if you remember, in bliss, in joy all the time. And people who go on talking about things in this world only, world, contentment will never come. Joy will never come. Right. Now number 10 and number 11 answers one of the biggest questions in Vedanta, in Sanatana Dharma. 2 verses together, or 1 time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
So the question is this, right? This question is asked even here in India also, even in America also, in Canada, wherever people ask the same question. Look here. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Upanishad and all, one just know, Vedti, your Vedti, those people who know me like this. Huh? So, the question comes, am I supposed to know Bhagavan or is sufficient devotion for Bhagavan enough? Means just by loving Bhagavan with all my heart, I will gain mukti, or am I supposed to know the Lord? By knowledge I will gain mukti. That's the question. I will gain mukti by devotion to Lord, or I will gain mukti by knowing the Lord? Well, let me tell you the short answer for that. The short answer is we have to know the Lord. I have to know that I am Sat-Chit and knowledge is required. But this verse, these two verses by Bhagavan Shri Krishna is a most wonderful, what we call in legal language, notwithstanding clause. Notwithstanding clause. The meaning to say no. Bhagavan is telling, let me tell you short of what he is saying in these two verses. My dear, suppose you don't have the intellectual disposition. You are not so inclined to know me. Right? But you are a very good devotee. Bhagavan said you don't have to worry also. Suppose you are not the intellectual type and you can't acquire that knowledge and you don't like to study all the hard philosophical ideas and all that kind of thing, right? He said, no, Swamiji, I'm ready to hurry, waiting for that. That's beyond me. I will just love the Lord. If anybody said like that, Bhagavan said, you also don't have to worry. If you have proper love for me, I myself will come and just give you that knowledge for free. That is all. You see? But then in the end, the answer is still, we needed that knowledge, isn't it? So the answer to the question is, whether I will get mukti by devotion or by knowledge. The answer is, I will get mukti by knowledge of my nature. Sat, I am Sat-Chit, Anand. That is the answer. But for the person who is a good devotee, he doesn't have to worry also. That knowledge that I am Satchidananda, Bhagavan will just come and give the knowledge. Whereas the other fellow, he trying to get that knowledge his whole life. Not only one life, millions of lifetimes. He trying to get this knowledge. On and on and on. Trying. Studying. Over and over studying Shastras and Sanskrit and all these hard words and this and that. He studied and he tried to get that knowledge. And the person who is that devotee, no. The one who is a devotee, true devotee of Bhagavan just comes in a moment and gives him that knowledge. So now both of them end up in the same place or not? Both of them end up in the same place. But there is a catch in that also. Remember, this fellow spent lifetime trying to get the knowledge. What knowledge? I am Chidananda. And this fellow Bhagavan comes and gives him. But who he gives to? The catchphrase in this verse, the one who is a true devotee, not any true kind of devotee. The one who is a true devotee. Now, to become a true devotee of Bhagavan, this bhakta has to put the same effort as this fellow who trying to get his jnani, who trying to get his knowledge all so many lifetimes. The effort of both of them is one and same. And only thing is that they came to a different path. And in this path, it ends with Bhagavan giving the knowledge. And in this path, it ends with this fellow getting the knowledge all by him. That is all. So many things have to be studied now. What is that? The effort. Don't think that there's an easy part, because everybody like everything too easy. I was telling that in the beginning. The key here is that person has to be a true devotee. This is what Bhagavan is. Tesham satata yuktaram bhajatam priti purvakam. Satata yuktaram means he should be thinking all the time about Bhagavan and Bhagavan alone and nothing else. You can't remember sometimes I'm thinking about my own money and my bank account and I'm checking every day to see how much I can for. And then I thought next time I have to sleep with that room. No. Satata Yuktana. Devotee has to think about the Lord all the time. Morning, noon and night. Constantly. No letting up. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. I'm thinking about the Lord with great love also. Thinking about that love, the Lord with great love. I give him that knowledge which is required for him to come to merge with me. And the same idea continues in next and tells us mechanism. What is a Tesham Evan Kampatham? Out of infinite compassion for that person, that devotee who comes like this, out of infinite compassion for him, Aham Prajnanam Tamaha, the ignorance which is there in his mind, born of tamas, that ignorant born of tamas, Nashayami Atmabhavastaha. I destroyed. How? Jnana Deepena Bhasana. I destroyed with the light of knowledge. So the devotee has his mind fixed on Paramatma all the time. Paramatma and Lord himself, with the light of knowledge, destroys the darkness of ignorance from his mind. And he and the jnani who was coming to the path of knowledge, two of them reach the same place. But only through knowledge. This is the idea. These are two very famous verses in this Ramcharitra, in this Bhagavad Gita. It answers this old question. People feel, by devotion alone I will reach Lord Bhagavan. The other brother, by jnana alone I will reach Bhagavan, by knowledge alone. So we say, now the answer will be, both will reach Bhagavan only. But I have to be true in whichever one I choose. I cannot be any kind of halfway devotee and all. I'm a convenient devotee. Convenient devotee means I am a devotee conveniently when I want something. Like that. That is not devotion. Okay. Now, Arjuna will ask some questions. And Bhagavan will answer. But he will have to do it in Georgetown. Because now I don't want to start that and then it will not finish, it will be like in the middle there. So this is our last night in quarantine in Bodhi. Tomorrow we go back to Georgetown for 2 days, and then after that we go to West and to Essequibo and all that. But anyway, this portion of those two verses which we just did there, those two verses actually answer one of the biggest questions in Hindu spirituality, Hindu Sanatana Dharma. So, you have to remember that this temple two very important verses came. Right. Now, I'll just tell some announcements and then we have Aarti and we'll continue. So a very special thank you to the Hampshire 2 p.m. at the Sri Ganesh Mandir, having organized. And thank you also for pushing it to 7 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. Okay. Whatever that is, 6 o'clock. So tomorrow night, number 58 is tomorrow. We will be in Non-Parel on that side, way the George Street, right? Okay. Non-Parel. Vishnu Mandir, section B. Section B, Vishnu Mandir, Non-Parel. Okay. Now some other announcements. A bookmark has been made for all of you for this occasion. Please have one today. Okay. Don't miss the opportunity. And for those people who have time on the 3rd of May, the grand conclusion, the grand finale of this 108th night will be taking place in Georgetown on the 3rd of May at 5 p.m. at the Gandhi Youth Cricket Ground, 3rd of May, 5 p.m. So if you have the time, please come. It will be good if you can make a group from here and come. Okay. There are lots of classes going on for children, many classes online and all that. Please see two teachers have now been posted to Guyana. They were first posted in Toronto, Canada for 10 years, and now they are posted to Guyana permanently. And they are staying at the ashram in Manripo, at Jimanishan Ashram. So Dave Ji and Gina Ji are here, please meet them and find out all the different classes Sanskrit. The classes, Bhagavad-gita classes, chanting of Gita, mantra chanting, so many things are going on. So please find out from them, and you can also join them at the ashram whenever you are passing that area. In the summertime, we have Bhagavad-gita camp for children at the ashram, and after that it's finished in July, then there's another camp in Trinidad in August. So you can join those camps also if you have the time. Now, in Trinidad, you can stay at the ashram when you come. There's a lot of space. Those people who want to teach this type of Sanatana Dharma teaching across the world, Chimanishan has a training course for such people. It's a 2-year training course. You have to come and stay in the ashram and learn for 2 years. And the qualification is you must have a first degree, you must be 30 and under, and you must be unmarried. So those people who are like that and want to come and study this knowledge for 2 years, it's a very, very demanding course. Please pass the word around for those who are interested. There are no holidays in 2 years. Not a single holiday. And classes start at 5:30 a.m., not p.m. a.m. and goes till 8 p.m. every single day. So that type of training, rigorous training is given in those 2 years. Those who qualify will be sponsored by the ashram. They will not have to pay anything. Okay. Please see our bookstore on the outside as you are going. There are many wonderful titles. Why to do seva? It's very important. Seva is the beginning of our spiritual journey. Conquering the mind. The mind is all trouble. And this is Mahamrityunjaya mantra. You know that Trayambakam Yaja Mahesh Gandhin Pushtivardham. All the explanation of that mantra. And then there are so many children titles. This is the best gift to give to children. Presents for children. Instead of give chocolate. Give books. Okay, now it's time for Aarti and we continue. Before I start the Aarti, I also want to say, in this area, our biggest and greatest contact was Pandit Ian, who has gone to all the temples personally and made all these arrangements for us. Thank you so much, Pandit. A yeoman service to Gaya. Wonderful. Om Jai Bhagavati Te, Maya Jai Bhagavati Te,
Hariya Kamala Viharini. Om Jai Bhagavati Te, Jai Bhagavati Te, Maya Jai Bhagavati Te. Hariya Kamala Viharini, Hariya Kamala Viharini, Sundar Supunite, Om Jai Bhagavati Te. Maya Kama Sakti Hara, तत्त्वज्ञान विकासिनी ओम जय भगवद गीते। मया निर्मल मलहारी शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी ओम जय भगवद गीते। मयकारिणी मोद सदा भव भयहारिणी तारिणी ओम जय भगवद गीते। मया नाशिनी तमरजनी देवी सगुणदायिनी ओम जय भगवद गीते। मया हरि मुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी ओम जय भगवद गीते। मया मातु कृपा की जय हरि पद प्रेम दान कर ओम जय भगवद गीते। जय भगवद गीते मया जय भगवद गीते। हरि हिय कमल विहारिणी हरि हिय कमल विहारिणी सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवद गीते।